good evening and a warm welcome to your weekend edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Zeenat Musafir, joined by news interpreter for tonight, Taraka Gabriel via Zoom. Let's first take a look at your headlines for today.
Oil anointed in line with the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Prime Minister joins celebrations. Apprise Buddhist monks on the Port City Bill. A request from the Registrar of the Asgiria chapter. Why are politicians speaking in favour of the Port City Bill? Thousands of farmers hit by fertilizer shortage.
The anointing of oil in line with the Sinhala and Tamil New Year took place at the auspicious time of 7:16 a.m. today. Oil is to be applied on the head while facing the south, while nuga leaves will be placed on the head and karanda leaves under the feet while being clad in blue attire. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in the ritual at his official residence. Former President Maithripala Sirisena engaged in the New Year ritual in Polonnaruwa today. The indigenous community engaged in this ritual in Kottabakinia today under the auspices of its leader Uruvarige Vannilatto. The anointing of oil took place at the Pinnavela Elephant Orphanage this afternoon. The year-long tradition was carried out in many locations, including in temples across the island. The Chief Registrar of the Asgiria chapter of the Siam sect, Venerable Dr. Madagama Dhammananda Thero, says the government must apprise the Mahasangha on the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Bill.
මෙම පනත මගින් රටේ පවතින නීතිමය රාමුවට ඒ වගේම
We observe that this bill will hamper the law and governance structure in our country. However, the government is yet to provide us with a clear understanding of the bill. We hope to discuss this matter with the President and government representatives shortly and obtain a clear understanding of the Port City Economic Commission Bill. It is our responsibility to oppose any decision that would be detrimental to our country. We urge the government to educate us on this subject so we could carry out a special study on the matter.
මේ පිළිබඳව දැනුවත් කිරීමක් සිද්ධ කරන හැටියට වර්තමාන රජයෙන්
රට කොටස් වශයෙන් කඩා ගන්න රට බෙදන්න ගන්නාලද උත්සාහය අවුරුදු 30ක අරගලයකින් අවසන් කළා.
The effort to divide the country was brought to an end after 30 years. Today we are facing a similar situation. Earlier the effort to divide the country was done through the use of weapons. Today, this attempt of snatching away parts of the country is done through different strategies. We can see that the port city or the new Chinese colony is to be built. This port city does not fall under the purview of the state. There are no public representatives or oversight there. That land does not have a public representative for Sri Lanka. Control over this land will be given to a commission appointed by 5 individuals appointed according to the President's will. All the decisions will be taken by them. We would like to ask whether the Parliament comprising of representatives that formulate laws are aware of this situation. Are you taking part in this crime of strategically converting a part of this country into a Chinese colony? This is a decision that must be taken in the new year. The new Chinese colony must be rejected. It should not be established in Sri Lanka. We are speaking from a desperate standpoint today because the government is not keeping to its responsibilities. This new year, let us all wish for a government that is responsible for the security of the people and their survival. May the government be honorable. This new year, we wish the people to be protected by the government.
අපි අලුත් අවුරුද්දේ ප්‍රාර්ථනාවක් තබමු. දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පatti හෝතුච පීතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ රජතුමා හිවත් රජය ධාර්මික වේවා රජය මගින් ජනතාව සුරකේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාව අලුත් අවුරුද්දේ අපි මේ රට ඉදිරියේ තබනවා.
Meanwhile, the government has responded to several views that have been expressed on the Colombo Port City Economic Commission bill.
විදායකයේ ව්‍යවස්ථාදායකයේ අධිකරණය අපි මෙතනින් බයිපාස් කරලා නැහැ.
We have not bypassed the executive, legislature and the judiciary. Those claims are completely wrong. The Attorney General has officially informed us that the bill falls in line with the country's constitution. We proceeded with this only after that. We have certain issues concerning foreign currency revenue and the depreciation of the rupee. We are trying to attract foreign investments as a solution to these issues. I feel that some people are acting to shift this burden onto the people and to enjoy the sight of it.
අම කාලකන්ණි සුවයක් එහෙම නැත්නම් තෘප්තියක් ලබන්න උත්සාහයකක් ගන්න ගැනීමක් හැටියටයි මම දකින්නේ.
Views were expressed on the benefits that can be reaped from the port city.
මේ රටට ආයෝජන එන ක්‍රමවේදයක්. ඒ ක්‍රමවේදය තමයි single window facilitator. අලුතෙන් රැකියාව.
This is a mechanism to attract investments. We call it a single window facilitator. 83,000 jobs are to be created by this. It was the Megapolice Ministry that declared that 83,000 jobs will be created by this. They said it before us. This will serve as a building point for several generations. Some people do not prefer to witness this turning point. Otherwise, there is no need of telling the media that this is going to become a Chinese colony. They can tell that in court. They say that the police will have no control over this. If an offence, even such as pickpocketing, takes place in Port City, it is our police that will carry out investigations. China will not get involved in this.
මේ කෙනෙක් ගිහලා පික් පොකට් එකක් ගෙහුවොත් අපේ පොලිසිය තමයි ගිහිල්ලා ඒක මේ විග්‍රහ කරන්නේ. චීනෙන් එන්නේ නැහැ කවුරුත්. දැන් මේගොල්ලෝ කියන විදිහට ඒකයි නෙවෙන්නේ.
The land rights concerning the port city also figured during the briefing.
භූමිය අපිට අයිති නැහැ කියන එක ප්‍රධාන තර්කයක්. මේ භූමිය
A main argument is that this land does not belong to us. But I have with me a gazette signed by Vajrabe Wardana. This gazette declares that the port city has been annexed to the country's land. These are the lot numbers and the borders of those lands. Maithripala Sirisena then vested these lands with the Urban Development Authority. The main accusation stating that this land will be given away to China and will not be a part of our map is a weak one.
මේක අපිට අයිති නැහැ අපේ සිටියේ නැහැයි කියන එක පුස් තර්කයක්.
But speaking at a video conference recently, Nihal Jayawardena, President's Counsel, who was involved in drafting this particular bill in question, clearly mentioned in the presence of the President's Secretary that the lands that were under the UDA will be transferred to the Commission, which comprises of a few members. So is he misguided according to your statement?
In this instance, the entire land of the entirety of 229 hectares or what exact number is vested with the UDA initially because there was no commission at that time. Now when the commission is brought to life after this act is passed, then the commission will be granted this land by the UDA so there is absolutely no issue here. From the UDA it will be transferred to the commission.
හාස්‍යයට කාරණාව තමයි
It's amusing how Minister Keheli Rambukwala and State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral justified the Colombo Port City Economic Commission bill at a media briefing today. They claim that they will take on the responsibility if anything detrimental is included in the bill.
තියෙනවනම් අනේ නිවාඩ් කබ්‍රාල් මහත්තයෝ ග්‍රීක බොන්ඩ් ආයෝජනය කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා මේ රටේ අහිංසක ජනතාවගේ මුදල් ප්‍රකෝටි ගණන් විනාශ කරේ ඔබතුමා මැදිහත් වෙලා මූලිකත්වය අරගෙන කෝ ඒ වගේ වගකීම ඔබතුමා ගත්තද හෙජින් යූසිමේ අලාභය කීයද එදත් ඔය නිවාඩ් කබ්‍රාල්ම තමයි ඇවිල්ලා ඒ කාරණාවල් සාධාරණීකරණය කළේ.
It was Ajit Niwad Cabral's decision to invest in Greek bonds and enter into a hedging deal on purchasing fuel. We lost millions of public funds because of such decisions. But did Ajit Niwad Cabral take responsibility for any of that? Back then, even after losing so much, this was the same way he justified his decisions. The general public is still paying for all the losses the government suffered due to such short-sighted decisions.
වගකීම් බාර ගන්නවයි කියලා කතා කරන්නේ රෙද්දක් ඇඳගෙනද කබ්‍රාල් මහත්තයෝ කියලා අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රශ්න කරනවා.
On whose behalf are they justifying the establishment of the Port City Economic Commission? Is it for the sake of the country or for the sake of the people? No, all of this is done for the benefit of their allies who are attempting to whitewash their black money. The children of these two ministers are employed in the Port City project. They must remember that their children are serving China and not Sri Lanka.
ඒ දරුවන් සේවකීන් බවට පත් වෙලා ඉන්න චීනයටයි අද ඔවුන් මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡා තියලා රජයේ ප්‍රවෘත්ති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව හරහා ඔවුන් අද මේ කටයුතු කරමින් යන්නේ.
Newsfirst inquired from Minister Kehiliya Ramukwella regarding the claim made by Venerable Ulapane Sumangala Thero during the media briefing.
The Venerable Thero is mistaken. My child is not employed in the Port City project. His claim is inaccurate. I want to reiterate that we have not been influenced by anyone. We only intend to provide a clear understanding of the Port City Economic Commission Bill to the general public.
Our attempts to contact State Minister Ajit Niwat Cabral were futile.
නායකත්වයට අපි වැඩක් බාර දෙන්න පස්සේ නායකත්වය අනුගමනය කරන පිරිසත් අපි උදව් උපකාර කරන්න ඕනේ.
When we entrust a task with the leadership, we need to support them to fulfill those tasks. Today we do not have leaders in our country. We have bosses. When we follow these bosses, we can't get anything done. This country needs investments. We don't mind who the investors are if they follow the laws of this nation. Investors from India, Japan, China, or the US can assist the development of this country. If we are biased towards one side, we don't know how our country would be destroyed. The leaders of our country should be aware of this. Meanwhile, Venerable Muruthatwe Ananda Thero also responded to certain statements made by Minister Mahindananda Aluthgamage yesterday. Minister Mahindananda Aluthgamage came to meet me yesterday. What did he discuss with me? What did he tell the media? We need to be careful when we deal with ministers. When the minister was with me, Sajith Premadasa spoke with me. If he is revealing the contents of the meeting to the media, I don't think that it is ethical. When he met me, he accepted everything that was said. But he did not say the things that he spoke to the media or do the things he said. Although they act in an opportunistic manner, we do not act like that.
ඔය කියන ඒවා අපිට කිව්වෙත් නැහැ කෙලෙත් නැහැ. මුත් එතුමාලාගේ තියෙන අවස්ථාවාදී කටයුතු කරාට අපි ඒක කරන්නේ නැහැ කියනවා පැහැදිලිව කියනවා.
The Portuguese arrived in the island in 1505. The Dutch landed in 1658, and in 1796 the British set foot in Sri Lanka. These groups arrived in the country on 3 different occasions. However, during Gotabaya's presidency, it all happened at the same time. We had the US with the MCC, India with the East Container Terminal, and China with the Colombo Port City. When the MCC was put forward, the general public took to the streets, urging the government to cancel the agreement. After winning that struggle, India demanded the East Container Terminal. Following the opposition against this, the government agreed to give the West Container Terminal instead, and now the government is attempting to give the Colombo Port City to China. This is a 1,100-acre land area that belongs to our country. When the Portuguese set foot on the island, only a small plot of land was given to them, but this ended with the Portuguese signing the Candian Convention in 1815. Today, the government is attempting to give away 1,100 acres of land to China. The government is using the powers of its 2/3 majority and the 20th Amendment to carry out these activities. The ruling party wanted a Hitler, and now it seems that he has started to exercise such abusive powers.
නන්දසේන මහත්තයලා ඔක්කොම ඔප්පු තිරප්පු ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද 3න් 2 බලය ලැබුණානේ ජනතාව දුන්නානේ 20නුත් බලය වැඩි කරගත්තානේ. දැන් ඉතින් හිට්ලර් කෙනෙක්නේ ඕනේ කියලා කියන්නේ. දැන් බලතල පාවිච්චි කරන්න පටන් අරන් තිනවා. මේකට එරෙහි වෙන
All the necessary laws and acts have already been prepared to give away the port city. Those opposing the government's move are being threatened and intimidated. Against such a backdrop, the ruling party members are coming forward to justify their decisions by claiming this move will develop the country. We urge the president to address these concerns. The people elected a president to save this country. But today, the people must protect this country from him.
ගේ නාමයෙන් ඉඳ නන්දසේන මහත්තයාට කියන්නේ එක්ක මේක තියලා යන්න එක්ක මේවා අකුල ගන්න. ඉඳ අපි රටේ ජනතාවට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ රට රැක ගන්න කියලා ඔන්න දුන්නා විරුවෙකුට. දැන් ඒ විරුවගෙන් රට රැක ගන්න දැන් පෙරට එන්න.
It is clear that this agreement will not benefit this country. This agreement will only benefit the financial position of the Rajapaksa family.
රාජපක්ෂ පවුලේ ගිනුම් තරවීම සඳහා ගහන ගිවිසුම්. ඊට කලින් අපිට මතකයි චීනෙන් ඩොලර් මිලියන 7.5ක් රාජපක්ෂලාට දුන්න කියලා නිව්යෝර්ක් ටයිම්ස් පුවත්පතේ වාර්තා කළා. ඒක චීනේ දුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කිව්වේ නැහැ. රාජපක්ෂ
We remember that the article published in the New York Times claiming the Chinese government had given $7.5 million to the Rajapaksa family. China never refuted such claims, and neither did the Rajapaksa family. The day this matter was debated in Parliament, not a single member of the Rajapaksa clan was present. These developments now prove that such claims were accurate. They are attempting to give away our lands to China in a bid to earn money.
මේ වැඩේ කරන්න කියන එක අපි ප්‍රශ්න කරනවා.
පෝට් සිටි හරහා චීන කොළ
There are accusations that the Colombo port city will be another Chinese colony. However, the biggest concern is how the government is promoting this project. When the 20th Amendment was put forward, the ruling party reiterated that they would not put the country's democracy at risk. However, subsequently, factions supporting the ruling party claimed that the harmful provisions of the new amendment had been removed. This was the same case with the Colombo Port's East Container Terminal. Even after saving the ECT, the government decided to give away the West Container Terminal instead. Ultimately, it was India which won. We are concerned that the government might do the same with the port city. Ultimately, the people of this country will be misled, paving the way for the Chinese government and the Rajapaksa family to achieve their objectives.
ඉෂ්ට කරගන්න යනවා කියන එක තමයි අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රධාන සැකය.
Meanwhile, the leader of the opposition, Sajid Premadasa, today extended an open invitation to all government MPs and progressive forces representing the country.
We hear from some people that the Port City project is a turning point. I would like to ask, how can a project that is owned by another country be a turning point to Sri Lanka? What is the turning point? This is not a turning point. This is a betrayal. This is a step to subjugate this country to a foreign country. It is an era where the country's resources are being sold. The power struggle within the government is so severe that ministers and MPs of the government say that their lives are under threat. I would like to tell all the ministers and MPs of the government who talk on behalf of the people and who are there on behalf of the people, we the Samagi Jana Balawegaya are ready to protect your lives and your rights. I also invite the progressive forces in the government to join hands with the Samagi Jana Balawegaya to join the new program to build this country. We will create a new Sri Lanka that will empower the people of this country.
While the Samagi Jana Balawegaya has issued a statement titled, "Let's stop the government's undemocratic journey. Let's protect the freedom of speech." The statement pointed out that the calls received by Venerable Muruttattuwe Anandathero and Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and the arrest of Asela Sampath are an indication of the threat to the human rights situation in the country. It added that the party is willing to stand unconditionally for individuals affected due to the government's anti-democratic activities.
The voice of the people.
The Bar Association of Sri Lanka has requested the Prime Minister to refrain from pursuing with the parliamentary motion on implementing the decisions of the Presidential Commission on Political Victimization.
Issuing a statement, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka expressed concerns over the parliamentary motion seeking to implement certain decisions of the Presidential Commission on Political Victimization. The statement highlighted concerns that the motion seeks to implement the recommendations of the Commission to withdraw certain ongoing criminal cases. The Executive Committee of the BASL expressed concerns that a proposal has been put forward to implement the Presidential Commission's recommendations, although its report has not been released to the public. It added that passing the motion would be an affront to the doctrine of separation of powers, the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary. The BSL insisted that even if the motion is passed, it should not have any effect or influence on any court, the Attorney General's Department or the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. The motion has been added to the business of Parliament fixed for the 21st of April.
The lack of seeds, fertilizer and water are problems that farmers continue to face in the country. However, these problems have continued to miss the eye of politicians for several years. Tonight's focus on Action TV is on one such problem.
The Navagiriava Reservoir in Ampara benefits 7 farming communities that fall under the Galoi irrigation scheme. Although these 7 farming communities are located in the Ampara district, the harvest of 5 communities is to be reaped in line with the cultivation patterns in Batiklo. This is against a backdrop in which the operations of the Navagiriava Reservoir in Ampara are carried out by the Batiklo District Irrigation Engineer's Office. Accordingly, farmers belonging to these 4 communities have harvested their crops before the rest of the 35 farmers in other communities. It has been 25 days since the Batiklo District Irrigation Engineer's Office had released water from the Navagiriava Reservoir to the fields in Uhuna on the 15th of March. However, farmers have given up their hopes of reaping a harvest this season.
තාම අපිට මේ මඩ පොහොරවත් යූරියා කිසිම දෙයක් පොහොර කියන જાතියක් හම්බෙලා නැහැ තාම මේ වෙනතුරු.
පොහොර තාම කිසිම මේ මඩ පොහොර තියා යූරියාවත් කිසිම දෙයක් පොහොර දෙන්න දවසක් කිව්වෙත් නැහැ දුන්නෙත් නැහැ තාම. පොහොර පොම් පුරවලා තියෙනවා. අක්කර බදු ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. ඩනත්තු මුදල් ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. සේරම ඒවා බිල් කරලා බිල් දීලා තියෙනවා පොහොර හම්බෙලා නැහැ.
The shortage of fertilizer has affected nearly 3,000 acres of paddy fields in the area. Although the Batticaloa District Irrigation Engineer's Office bears the responsibility of releasing water to these fields, it is the Maya Dunne Agrarian Services Centre that has the responsibility of issuing fertilizer to these farmers. Don't the problems of these farmers highlight the lack of coordination between the ministries of agriculture and irrigation? Will such a country be self-sufficient in terms of rice? Protests launched by farmers across the island continued today as well. The Satyagraha campaign launched by the farmers of Walsapgola over the proposed managed wild elephant reserve in Hambantota entered its 91st day today. They engaged in the traditional ritual of anointing oil in line with the Sinhala and Tamil New Year this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Satyagraha launched in Mahyanganaya in solidarity with the farmers of Walsapgola continued for the 32nd day today. Farmers protesting in Mahyanganaya also engaged in the ritual of anointing oil. The Satyagraha campaign launched by the farmers of Galgamur demanding a permanent solution to the human-elephant conflict was carried out for the 33rd day today. Another Satyagraha demanding a solution to the human-elephant conflict is being staged in Madhavachia. Members of the Socialist Youth Union arrived at the location of the Satyagraha and joined the farmers this afternoon.
The human-elephant conflict continues to pose a threat to the people of Sri Lanka. Wild elephants roaming in the Moragoda Mukalana Reserve encroach into villages in the Mathale district, leaving behind a massive trail of destruction. Elephants damage electric fences set up by villagers to protect their crops from being destroyed in their fields. Locals say that elephants topple electric poles as there are no large trees in the area.
ගහක් කොලක් නෑනේ අපේ වගාව ආයිනේ පෙරලන්න මේ ලොකු ගමට යන ලයිට් ලයින් එක පෙරලලා තමයි මේ වගාවට ඇවිල්ලා හානි කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
තුන්පස් රෑන හිටියා වෙනම තනියා හිටියා වෙනම.
Coconut and vegetables cultivated by farmers after toiling hard for months have been damaged by wild elephants.
හැම මහත්තයෙකුටම අපි කතා කරලා කියලා තියෙනවා අපිට සහනයක් දෙන්න කියලා. කිසිම දෙයක් මේකන් අපිට ලැබිලා නැහැ.
Wild elephant encroachments in Tambutte Gama and Radhapura have worsened as well. Farmers allege that damages have increased since their harvest is stored indoors. A house had been destroyed last night by elephants that had encroached into the villages of Tambutte Gama, Kalegama and Potia Gama. A mother and 3 children had been inside the house at the time of the attack.
අලියාව වීමිටි දෙක උත්තරන් ගියා. පොඩි ළමයි එකන් ඉන්න බයයි. මිනිස්සු ගෙවල් වලනේ බලදාරින්ට කිව්වට පිළිගන්නේ කරදර හැමතැනම.
Nearly 80 trees in the area have been toppled by wild elephants. The elephants encroach into the village from the Mandagala reserve. Meanwhile, an elephant had died yesterday after being electrocuted near the village.
දවස් දෙකක් අලිවට තිබ්බේ නෑ. අලිවට ගලවන් අලි ගියා. නමුත් අලියවිල්ලා පදිංචි වුණා. අලිවට නිදි මහජන මුදල් නාස්තිය විතරයි කරන්නේ. මහජනයාට සිතක් වෙන්නේ නෑ.
The village of Migalava Padaviyagama in the Galgamur Divisional Secretariat is also constantly subject to wild elephant attacks. A banana cultivation belonging to a farmer by the name of Gamini Ratnayaka has been completely destroyed.
කිසි කෙනෙක් මේ මොකුත් ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න කරන්නේත් නැහැ. තාම ආවෙත් නැහැ කවුරුවත්. ඒ කැන් කැපෙනේවම කැන් 600ක් තියෙන මේ ගස් තමයි ඔක්කොම පොඩි කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
යන්න යන්නේ. යන්න හරි.
A wild elephant had attacked a motorcycle in the Veeragantota Morayaya village in Minipe this morning. These visuals show an elephant belonging to a herd in the Mahabali River.
For more than 2 decades, Newsfirst has reported the truth in the interests of the Sri Lankan people. Party politics is not our concern. We report the truth and will continue to do so in the interests of the people and our nation.
One mission, one channel, and one more thing, 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Human rights group Amnesty International has said that at least 41 Sri Lankan women have been arbitrarily detained in Saudi Arabia.
Amnesty International noted that 41 Sri Lankan women have been held at a deportation detention center in Riyadh for periods ranging from 8 to 18 months. The rights group noted that at least 3 of them have young children detained with them and 1 is in urgent need of medical care which she is not receiving. A majority of the detained individuals are migrant domestic workers. None of the women have been informed of any charges brought against them, nor have they been granted access to a lawyer or received any consular assistance. Amnesty International said these detentions have been taking place as a result of the kafala system that vests employers with the responsibility to provide exit and work permits. Accordingly, it noted that many women have been detained after they were unable to obtain an exit permit from their employer to leave the country or a work permit to regularize their stay.
One mission, one channel, and one more thing, 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
And that's a wrap up Primetime News. Thank you very much for watching News First. Don't forget to log on to our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk for more of the latest updates. Thank you very much for watching News First. Good night and take care.